rivers will run red.
Welcome, summoners, to my Vladamir guide. Vladamir is one of my favorite champions in League of Legends. Vladamir is one of the few champions in League of Legends that can help you carry your team and gain elo and help you get those sexy, hot bitches, girls. Vlad has a kit that enables him and his team to win team fights surprisingly easily to the point of orgasmic proportions. Vladamir is by no means an easy champion to play, but mastering or being proficient at him is rewarding and so much fun. Do you like a champion that can one-shot the backline? Do you like a champion that looks like a masochistic bastard who enjoys getting spanked and tortured in lane? Do you like a freaking vampire that can suck the living shit out of your opponent? Vladamir is your champion, my friends. But first, let's talk about his lore, his beginnings. Vladamir, also known as a Crimson Reaper, is a boy who lives on Noxus. Vladamir has a big fetish, a murder fetish. He enjoys killing the living crap out of his victims. He enjoys sucking his victims dry. He likes to see them crawl and suffer from the excruciating pain, and likes to see his victims beg for their lives. Since he cannot control his murder fetishes, he was chased by the people of authority in Noxus. One day, he went to a hidden temple between Noxus and the Tempest Flats. There he saw a monk who trained Vladamir how to use necromancy. When it came time for Vladamir to learn the final lesson, the ritual killed his master, the monk, which gave him extraordinary powers. These powers amazed Noxian High Command that they recruited Vladamir to serve Noxus. Now that we know Vladamir is a disgusting psychopathic champion, let's talk about his abilities. But first, with his passive. His passive, Crimson Pact, Vladamir gains bonus ability power and bonus health. So basically, anytime you gain AP, you get HP, and when you gain health, you get AP. This is why Vladamir is so hard to kill. The bonuses he gets are insane. I sometimes feel sorry to the champions that have to go against him in the laning phase. He's like a brick wall, unkillable, unmovable, even hit by a wrecking ball. Now, let's talk about his Q, Transfusion. Vladamir drains the life force of the target enemy, dealing magic damage and healing himself. Each cast of Transfusion generates a stack. At 2 stacks, Vladamir gains Crimson Rush, which also gives him an extra movement speed. Crimson Rush is like an empowered Q of Vladamir, which deals more damage, magic damage, and gives more healing to him. Oh, by the way, the less health you have, the more damage you deal and more health you gain back. This is why Vladamir is a masochistic bastard. Next, his W, Sanguine Pull. Vladamir becomes untargetable and turns himself into some kind of pool, which reminds me of the time I first got my menstruation, even though I am a guy. It slows champions inside the pool and also deals magic damage. But seriously though, this skill is really broken. This skill is used to avoid any form of crowd control and used to gain a bit of movement speed to suck a bit more of the opponent. But use this skill sparingly in the early levels because it takes almost half of your health. Next is his E, Tides of Blood, first cast. Vladamir charges for up to 1.5 seconds, which also slows him. If Vladamir finishes charging or is silenced, he automatically initiates the second cast. Second cast. Vladamir unleashes a nova of blood bolts, each of which collide with the first enemy they hit, dealing them magic damage that is increased the longer Tides of Blood was charged. This is one of the reasons why Vladamir is a strong team fighting champion and an AIDS champion to play against. This is an AoE spell that when it's charged, it does significant damage. At first few levels, it does little damage, but come to mid to late game, it does huge amount of damage, especially combined with his ultimate. His R, which is called Hemoplague. Vladamir infects all enemies in the target area with the Virulent Plague, increasing the damage you take from all sources by 10% for 4 seconds, after which all infected enemies take magic damage and also heals Vlad by a big amount. Please take note of the words increasing the damage you take from all sources by 10%. This includes the damage done by your teammates and you. It is basically used to amplify the damage you and your team make. Make sure to use it at the right time at the right moment. This can win you the team fight if done correctly and used at the backline. Now let's talk about how to play as Vladamir, the Crimson Reaper. first, his laning tools. Your goal here is to survive at all costs. You have one of the shittiest early levels in the game, and I mean shitty to the point that Teemo, one of the weakest champions in the league, can dumpster you pre-6. You can harass your enemy laner with your Q and E, but let's be honest, those things are easy to dodge or avoid unless your opponent is a monkey. Try to get as much empowered Q as you can, and once he has 40% remaining health, you can kill your enemy laner by doing your combo. This combo is done by charging your E to max, flash with your empowered Q, use your empowered Q, then ignite. He is dead. Dead by the doornail. Congratulations! You have successfully snowballed your lane. Try not to roam as much in the early game unless it is really urgent. Oh, don't forget those stupid rapist junkers. That is why it is important to buy some control wards. Control wards save lives, so ward often as much as possible. Mid game, congratulations! You survived one of the worst excruciating pain of the early game. Mid game is much easier to play as Vladimir. At this point, your Q would at least be in a shorter cooldown, and by then, you already have your first item. Vladimir can now win lane once he has the first item. This enables him to harass better and poke better. Try to group up to siege the enemy towers by roaming bot lane or top lane, and try getting dragons, rift heralds, and objectives, etc. Objectives win games, guys, especially the early fire dragon. Fire dragon is one of the most important dragons in the early levels of the game, because it just might cost to heavily snowball in one side's favor. Try to get stronger by getting CS in camps. Get stronger till you reach late game. Late game, this is where you flash your emotes and spam the laughing animation of Vladimir, because this is a part of the game where you really become a vampire that cannot be fucked with. This is a part of the game where you want to fight. Urge your team to fight, because you can really one-shot anybody in the backline, especially the squishy members of the opponent team. But do not get cocky. I've seen so many Vlad players act so foolish that they die even before the team fight, either getting CC'd or getting caught somewhere in the map. Oh. Item builds. Starting item for Vladimir usually is Doran's Shield and a pot, or Dark Seals and 3 pots. I usually take Doran's Shield because it allows me to be more aggressive and carry with my enemy laner, but I take Dark Seal if I'm confident I can snowball out of control. This here is my personal item build for Vladimir. Hextech Revolver, Ionian Boots or Sword Shoes, Void Staff, Death Cap, Zonias, Leandris Torment or Morello. The order of items can be changed, but it is how I win games with Vladimir. Torella Reverie can also be a first item, but I'm not liking it as much as the Hextech Revolver. You can also use Banshee Veil or Spirit Visage, but I rarely use them. Runes. Here are the runes I take with the Crimson Reaper. 100% of the time, I go Unseal Spellbook with my secondary Sorcery. Honestly, taking other runes such as Electrocute or Air is okay, but not really ideal or efficient with Vladimir's kit. But that depends entirely on your preference. Summoner spells. I take Ignite and Flash all the time with Unseal Spellbook, but I take Ghost and Flash if I take runes besides Unseal Spellbook. So for the meantime, here are some montages, and hope you will like and subscribe and comment down below. For the team fight, either getting CC'd or getting caught somewhere in the map. Oh. Item builds. Starting item for Vladimir usually is Doran's Shield and a pot, or Dark Seals and 3 pots. I usually take Doran's Shield because it allows me to be more aggressive and carry with my enemy laner, but I take Dark Seal if I'm confident I can snowball out of control. This here is my personal item build for Vladimir. Hextech Revolver, Ionian Boots or Sword Shoes, Void Staff, Death Cap, Zonias, Leandris Torment or Morello. The order of items can be changed, but it is how I win games with Vladimir. Torella Reverie can also be a first item, but I'm not liking it as much as the Hextech Revolver. You can also use Banshee Veil or Spirit Visage, but I rarely